Yo, it's Guido coming at you with the Tactics Talk. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. I have here Metallica from my clan Cartel. He's in a Tier 9 Strv 103-0 middle tier and a 357 on Malinovka. Spawned into the south side. And he's going to have a pretty monster game. This is a stock gun, and I believe it was one of his first games in this tank. So he's clearly just unlocked it. You can see him driving up here to the southwest part of the map. And there's some new bushes up here I didn't realize were here. Actually, up on this ridge, there's one, and all along this ridge, actually, from the south spawn, there are a number of bushes you can move into and spot scouts, apparently, and not be spotted. And 1,300 assist damage from your Strv driving straight forward into a bush on Malinovka. I'm not really certain how that happened. Clearly, there were bushes between him and I don't know. I'm not sure. Holy cow. Well, that was nicely done. This is a unique tank. The UDs, the S1, the two Strvs at 9 and 10. Because they've got this kind of hydraulic assist mechanism. Where you hit X, you see that big banner in the middle of the screen right there, which is highly annoying. It says press X to travel mode and press X to siege mode. He's in siege mode right now, which means he crawls very slowly forward and backwards. If he's in travel mode, he drives much faster, but his accuracy is ridiculously bad. And when he is in siege mode, his accuracy is ridiculously good, as is his camo. And what's good about it is he is able to spin around without breaking his camo net. Wisely doesn't fire and then decides to. That surprised me a little bit and was not spotted. I don't know. They are very stealthy, let's just put it that way. Very, very stealthy. So he's at 2,700. I don't know what he was shooting at there. Is there somebody spotted there lately? I don't know. But he's got this guy. This poor guy is wondering what's going on, and he goes down in a heap. And the scout Strv moves forward again. These are the bushes I'm talking about, the one that he's in, and these long hair. Some of those are new. Now he's going to start tearing up this poor E100. Notice he's, like I said, he's got the stock gun, so his reload is much faster. He's carrying 20 APCR, but he hasn't dove into those yet. Dived. The APCR is 330 pen, and the APCR, they're both APCR, is 288 pen with a stock gun, which is pretty much plenty to handle just about anything other than the most heavily armored things. And the side of the E100 is, especially the turret side, is not going to deal with 288 very well. Let's see if he gets another one in here. One of these blind shots hits. He actually ends up with a little more damage than it shows at the end. Now he's got a whole stack on the 1-2 line. He's got a couple guys over on the 9-0, a couple guys in the middle. The Super Conqueror is very upset because I would assume he's taking all kinds of hits from the side every time he shows his face. There are several TDs hanging out down there, much like all of Metallica's team is hanging out on the 1-2 line. Their T-49's dead already, so it's up to the scout Strv to move forward. He comes up here and sees a T-95. Who does not see him? Not a huge surprise. The spotting range, vision range on a T-95 isn't very good. You'll notice that he's using a camo net and binocs. So he's doing quite a bit of his own spotting as far as the binocs go, but he seems to be picking these guys up before even needing the binocs. Poor E100 is taking more damage. And this is a pretty good spot, but he's going to get in a little bit of a pickle. I'll show you when this spot becomes not so much. T-95, I can see you thinking about it. He's thinking about firing. He's got to try to get into one of those hatches right there. Looks like he's aiming at it, thinking about it, but then he has an IS-7 coming across. And that's a pretty good reaction by the IS-7 because he realizes that there's a big push going on over here and he needs to try to work some flank shots on these guys as they move in. Metallica is attempting to use this down tree as best you can as cover. As best you can for cover. That's probably going to bounce, yeah. Upper plate, highly angled. The definition of hold down right there, attempting to find a shot. Now this poor E100 has showed himself again. It's another 430 in the side, and now he's down to a one shot. And watch, the benefit of the stock gun, at least in this one case, is that a fast reload is able to take down the E100. So the pickle here is that he's up high. He's got a Strv, a T95, and an IS-7, all fairly close. And even with his good camo, it's a high likelihood that he's going to get spotted. So let's see if he can even get into these bushes. Nope, and that's what, once he started moving towards that bush, I thought that was probably a bridge too far, so he comes off of that. The T95 misses him, thankfully, and he dodges down low here to get out of that fire. And that's the problem with that spot up there, especially with the IS-7 making a good move to come across. Looks like he was still spotted or right at the end of being spotted. An artillery dives in there. A Strv bounces off of him, that S1 that was spotted earlier. And he elects to stay there. I might have a reposition, but that's all right because nobody else shoots at you. He's looking for that good shot right there. We're going to spend some time bouncing back and forth. A couple of times I might have just taken a shot in here at these guys. Aim for that top hatch. Even the lower plate on the T95, which is very, very thin and hard to hit, but it was exposed. He's got a 704 sitting right next to him. Doing a little bit of in and out of siege mode and travel mode, and that can be tricky with this tank. I might even try just to track him there and go for some assist damage. 704 blast, no damage. Or unknown damage. And trying to figure out, alright, how do we get rid of one of these two guys? Team would have done better just to push in and take out the T95, but they're messing around. You elect not to shoot. I'd have taken a shot at them. There we go. Maybe a little bit late. Back to travel mode. Back to siege mode. The nice thing about the higher tier, good shot there, going after the lower plate. The Strv 103-0 and whatever the tier 10 is, 103 something. Maybe it's just 103. Is that they enter and leave siege mode quite quickly. So as long as you're using it judiciously, you can fire, move forward, get back into siege mode and fire again. It's not easy, and getting circles a big problem with these tanks. But if you're careful about it, you can actually do some good work. Still even, we're looking at 6 to 5. The T95 is over there, the IS-7 is over here. They're both kind of one-shots. It'd be nice to get rid of them. Once you get rid of those two guys, which are basically the eyes of the enemy at this point, the artillery will stop hitting you. And all the campers in the back, all the TVs sitting back there sniping will stop hitting you. Just waiting for this IS-7 to make a bad move. He's got that little bush between he and the IS-7. I don't even think the IS-7's seen him, although he's not popping his... Moves up just a little bit, and there we go. There's that side turret, and down he goes. That did get him spotted. Goes back into travel mode and starts moving out. It's wise. Sees the 95 and then comes back at him. I think I would have been a little more aggressive here, but there were quite a few TDs unspotted. Looks like he's thinking about it. Let's come up over and get this T95, but I think somebody else gets him right here. There we go. And now we're in a great spot for a 103. We're on that middle ridge with all kinds of fields of fire. Clearly there's some guys camping back at about the A6 or so, at least the IS-3, probably more. So we might get some more shots. Goes back into travel mode, decides to get up to this bush. The 9-0 line held on for a while, this poor IS-3. But now they're starting to lose. Down goes the IS-3. Watch this guy drives up on the train, starts running along the track. I'm not really sure what his plan was, but it wasn't a good one. Of course, he camped at on the track the whole time, so Strv, miss, down he goes. One of the few misses that he had. We're up to 3,700, 4,262 spotting. Looks like the 103 is on the other side of the track, so no shot there. Thinks about it, looks like, okay, he's coming up. No, he's not coming up. There's the artillery. What's left of Metallica's 1-2 line push is pushing across. But now we've got a bigger problem though. We've got this issue over on the 9-0 line. Where are those guys? Did they come back to the middle? Are they still on the hill, or are they actually going to push into the cap? There's the low, the Lerva. Down he goes. 704 got him. Those two are cornered over there. And we've got to think about, all right, how do we crack this nut? Where do we go with our Strv? I think probably sitting here for the moment is the best idea, because you can shift from, if they push over that side where the Strv is, unlikely. It's hard to push with that tank. Here he comes. Let me get a shot. Oh, not quite. We can shift over to help the 704, who's kind of in the middle, or we can swing all the way around and clear our cap if something goes on at the cap. These guys are trying to figure it out. There's the standard B, and he's actually in really good shape. That helps. 347. Not spotted on that shot. That's amazing. He's not even going to see him right here. Look at that. Camel net going, kind of sitting in the open. Standard doesn't see him. Goes back into travel, decides to move. And they're still futzing around with that enemy Strv in the corner. Now there's somebody on the cap. Fortunately, Metallica's standard B is headed back, and now he is looking to get towards the gap. Now, this is an interesting decision because you kind of go do a tweener. I think based on the draw range, I just stayed right about here because you have a clear shot on anything on the cap from here. Or if you wanted to make sure you were spotting it yourself, get up to one of these bushes. But what happens is you kind of go halfway. And I think if you'd have come low and got up into one of those bushes on the ridge, with your binocs, you'd have self-spotted that thing. We're going to go right here behind these further away bushes, and the standard B is actually going to find your target. The enemy standard B, though, has killed the 704, and that's a big problem. So there we go. There he is. And stock guns, kind of an issue with the Alpha. Obviously, you weren't able to kill him in one shot, but 2 quick shots didn't matter. Down he goes. Standard B helps you out. The enemy standard B is probably one of the biggest problems. Down goes the 103, so the 110E4 and Progetto have figured it out. There's enemy standard B. He's at 394, so not as dangerous as I thought. Must have taken some hits in there from somebody. Maybe the 704 got a piece of him before he died. 14-2 is still alive, and he kills the 110E4. And what's interesting is there's one of the first times I think you were spotted, maybe the second time the entire game. The IS-7 saw you, I think, right before he died. And here's the thing with the whole travel where your aiming is very difficult and your dispersion is massive. It's easy to miss in travel. He wants to be careful about taking a bad shot and giving the standard B an option to get around him or an opportunity. He's kind of just pressing in there, goes into siege mode. Somebody else sees him. There we go. The Progetto gets a shot. So well done. Another 75 spotting damage. And then we're going to see the artillery doesn't get any kills on that guy. And like I said, there was a blind shot in there that was valid, so it was over 5,000 damage with 4,337 spotting. So nice job, and a good example actually of what is usually considered a fairly campy tank being quite aggressive in repositioning. Not aggressive as in he's up front leading the charge, although he was out in front a couple times, but he was doing it judiciously. But moving his gun to where it can be a part of the battle. And for those of you who like TDs, that's a great example for the casemate type of TD. This one in particular is kind of a special case because it's got the gameplay mechanic of going into siege mode, and it's got ridiculous camo and some other things like that. But in general, the idea of moving your gun where it can be effective and part of the battle is applicable to all casemate TDs, or any tank really for that matter. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for sending in that replay Metallica. Really nice, and we will see you.